Hi, it's Beverly here again over at Crafting Chaos, and it just occurred to me that what I didn't point out when you were doing these stencils, if you will, making the stencil, half-cut stencil cards, is that you might actually want to cut your own stencil out of Mylar that you could use as a stencil on the front of a card. And a lot of companies are actually doing this sort of thing now, and you're getting more of a stamped idea just from a stencil. So I was just going to quickly show you the steps involved in that. So all I've done is use that same stencil font, and this time it was a small case R that gave us this kind of a shape here. So I'm just making it larger so you can see what we've got. And I think it looks a little bit like a thistle. I'm not really sure if it is a thistle, but that's what it looks like to me. So I'm just going to resize it like so, and I want to make it so that it's going to fit in a 7 by 5 or an 8 by 5, something like that. So I'm just going to bring on a square, and it doesn't really matter what size of square as such, just bring on a basic square, because that would just be the stencil, if you will, the Mylar, or a piece of Mylar that you'd be cutting it out of. So all you would do is you position your piece of Mylar on your mat, so that I'm just going to make it a little bit longer and a little less wide, so that you could do this so that you could save your Mylar and not use massive amounts of it. So I'm just going to make it so that you've still got a little bit of room left on each ends, these edges, to get some masking tape round to fasten it down if that's the way you want to do it, and so on. And all I'm going to do now is select both of those shapes, and I'm going to centre them vertically and horizontally like so. I'm going to make sure that the thistle is on top, so I'm going to send the square behind, and then when I click the thistle it should select it. I'm going to select the one behind, and we're going to go edit and subtract, process the overlap and subtract. And what you've actually done then is punched out excuse me, that on of the card, if you will, or of your Mylar, or whatever it is you're making your stencil out of. So if I just make that a colour so you can see, so now that you've got that, you can see that you've got your green leaves that you could stencil through. So what you could do then is obviously cut that out of Mylar, and then you can actually stencil through the holes whatever colour you want. Now if we just take that back a step just to make it even more versatile, before we actually do the removing the overlap, what I'm going to do is just move that rectangle to the side. I'm going to duplicate this so that we've got that as a duplicate. Now I'm going to line the two of the square and one of those up centrally and vertically like so. Make sure the thistle's on top, and it is, and select the square. Just going to make sure that they're still lined up, because I think I might just have moved one lined up, and then we're going to subtract again to get that removed, if you will. So just so you can see, just make that a colour, and then you can see that it's actually has punched that out. Now you could make that a matting layer for your card if you wanted, and then just if you wanted you could just break that apart, cut it out of a couple of different colours, 2 or 3 different colours, and paper piece the bits back in, and that would be a mat from the front of your card. So that could be cut out to make a stencil out of Mylar, or you could cut it out of cardstock and then cut these out of different coloured cardstocks. And you could even sort of decide what colour if you wanted, if you really wanted to save card and you wanted a few different colours for your leaves, because they're separate now, you can actually group the bits together, what you fancy having different colours, and then you can just cut a piece of card with those green ones on, so you don't need to cut every single, the whole file out 3 times. You can just cut the 4 times, whatever colours you want to use. You can select the pieces that you want and then cut them out. So that's just another option for you with using the stencil technique. So I'm just going to call this stencil technique, I'm going to save it, and then obviously you could download it using the same way. So this is just another option, and I think you could go on and on and on with these, because there's loads and loads of different stencil files that you can actually use. There's plenty of free ones on Google if you search Google Images, and if you look on the font site, you can find dingbats that have them, and obviously the world's your oyster, if you will. So again, thanks for watching. Remember to like, share and subscribe. Tell your friends where to find me, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.